When violence happens, we rush to a simple explanation. They were a psychopath. It feels safe, because if only monsters commit violence, then normal people never would. But what if that belief is wrong? What if the most dangerous acts in history were committed by people who looked just like everyone else? Popular culture tells us violence comes from a broken mind. Psychopath, sociopath, evil by nature, someone fundamentally different from us. This myth does something comforting. It pushes violence far away from our own identity. If violence is caused by a rare mental disorder, then we don't have to examine ourselves. But psychology tells a much more unsettling story. True psychopathy is rare. Estimates suggest it affects roughly 1% of the population. Yet violence is not rare. Assault, abuse, riots, war crimes, these involve millions of people. Studies consistently show that most violent offenders do not meet the criteria for psychopathy. They feel guilt, they feel fear, they feel regret. So if not psychopathy, what actually drives violence? Psychologist Philip Zimbardo called it the power of the situation. Under certain conditions, fear, authority, humiliation, survival, ordinary people can cross lines they never imagined crossing. The Stanford prison experiment wasn't about sadists. It was about context rewriting behavior. When the environment changes fast enough, identity lags behind. Violence becomes easier when the victim stops being seen as fully human. Psychologist Albert Bandura called this moral disengagement. Language shifts. They're not people, they're threats. They're not victims, they deserve it. It's not cruelty, it's justice. Once moral brakes disengage, violence no longer feels like violence. one of the strongest predictors of aggression isn't hatred. It's identity threat. When someone feels humiliated, disrespected, erased, violence becomes a way to restore a damaged sense of self. Not because they enjoy harm, but because they can't tolerate feeling powerless. Here's the most important moment. The moment before violence. Almost no one commits harm believing they are evil. They believe they are justified, provoked, forced. This self-justification is what allows the line to be crossed. So why do we cling to the psychopath myth? Because it protects our self-image, because it makes violence feel rare, because it keeps us from asking a terrifying question. Under the right pressure, would I do the same? The danger isn't that psychopaths exist. The danger is believing violence is someone else's problem. Because when we stop examining systems, pressures, and narratives, we allow the same conditions to repeat. Understanding this doesn't excuse violence. It explains it. And explanation is the first step toward prevention. Violence isn't born in monsters. It emerges when human psychology is pushed past its limits. That's the anatomy of intent.